Okay, Battletech enthusiasts, we are continuing our mech analysis here. We were looking at light mechs. Now we're bouncing to the opposite end of the spectrum, looking at some of my favorite assault mechs. And out of my 3 or 4 groups of mechs, lance builds and stuff, I do primarily play mercenary companies, known and unknown, simply because they can fit into a variety of scenarios and time periods. But perhaps really I'm a secret Steiner player, because everything in my list, given the choice and the battle value, I love assault mechs. I love big guns. I mean, that's kind of the philosophy here. The Fritz philosophy that big guns never tire. It's like, Fritz, build us an assault lance, 4 atlases. Fritz, build us a recon lance, 4 atlases. Build us an assault lance, 4 atlases. I mean, you can never have enough big armor and big guns. So I wanted to take a look at the awesome mech, simply because it is awesome. This is one of my favorite mechs. This is the mech that if you play a number of games against me or with me, and I've got around 5-6K battle value, that's what I'm going to be rocking for a variety of reasons. First, let's talk about the damage output. I feel that if you're playing an assault mech, you are either going to be throwing that assault mech up against, other heavies and assaults. So you're going to be taking a lot of firepower, dishing out a lot of firepower, or you're going to be expected to hold the line, right? You're going to be expected to take the brunt of all those annoying mediums and lights harassing you, and you need to dish out the firepower. You need to dish out the damage on there, meaning hit, damage, hit, damage, hit, damage, and then move to the next mech, bounce around. We can't trade these pop gun, medium laser, light autocannon, AC2, AC5 shots. We need some dice that if you're like, please don't let this connect. So in my mind, the analysis, I like weapons that do 10 points of damage or higher. Now, certain mechs that might have autocannons, lower caliber autocannons, AC2-5s, or mechs that might have medium lasers or large lasers, if they have them in enough quantity that I can put out an equal amount of damage, that would qualify also. So I'm certainly not discounting the lower type of weapons for assault and heavy mechs on there. So right away we have the awesome, where you've got 10, 10, 10 on the PPCs. We're talking stock. They've got good range. They've got good damage output. By having 3, you've got a couple of options, but more or less, if anything is guaranteed, 1 hit a turn. If you go stable and you're not moving and you cut down those modifiers, we're going to look at modifiers in a second. If I hit you with 2 PPCs, you could take a couple of shots. You could eat it, but then it is going to punch through that armor and start going into internals. This is further magnified. So certainly, look, Fritz, hey, a lot of mechs have 2 PPCs, right? Warhammers, Marauders, a lot of the classic unseen, now re-seen, but then unseen again. But the awesome has the advantage of the weight class, its armor. It is not ammunition dependent. Now, ammo, there's been a couple of times I've played in a Battletech campaign where ammo might have made a difference. And certainly playing longbow and archer spam, I'm aware of ammo. In a regular one-off game, at least in my experience, you guys, I would love to hear in the comments, is ammo even a concern? I've never really run dry. My longbow is shooting long-range 20s and 5-packs every single turn, just raining in direct fire, total urban pacification, total urban redevelopment here. If there's a city, I'm just leveling the whole freaking city on there. I keep track of ammo, but I very rarely run dry. So the advantage of the awesome there isn't so much in the fact that I don't have to worry about taking off ammo boxes, but more valuable as an assault mech who, again, is going to be going up against assaults or dealing with a whole swarm, a hornet's nest of mediums on there, like a Phoenix Swarm list or something like that, or Shadowhawk Swarm list, Griffin Swarm list. I wouldn't really swarm with Griffins, but I don't have to worry about ammo explosions. I can push the heat a little bit more, and you guys know I love pushing the heat. I have very poor heat management skills. I'm aware of what I'm doing. I know how to manage heat. On games where I can keep myself calm and I can focus on the mission, it's good. But if I get that bloodlust where I just got to start, or I see one of your mechs start taking damage and I'm like, I just got to pour it on. Literally in my awesome, I have an override switch that's like disengages what little advanced tech electronics we have left in there, switch it over to iron sights and kind of targeting optics and just heat the hell with it and just 3 PPCs a turn for like 2 turns. I'll roll those dice. I'll pass those tests on there. So we don't have to worry about that, right? We can just fire stuff. We don't have to worry about ammo cooking off. We don't have to worry about ammo explosion. This makes the mech that much more dangerous because it's not just 10 points of damage a turn or potentially 20 points of damage a turn. This is constant over turn after turn after turn. Add to this another layer, and this is where it's really getting interesting, is the fact that it's a sort of a zombie mech. So a zombie mech in Battletech is this idea that the arms are prone to getting blown off at some point based on the hit locations and based on the fact that even a heavily armored mech, it's going to be a little bit light in the arms. Obviously, the head is the weakest, but the arms come next, followed by the legs and the torsos. Rear armor is a completely different story. So when you have some mechs that have extensive weapon systems in their arms, I'm thinking like the trebuchet has lasers in one arm and missiles in the other. Those arms get blown off. The mech is suddenly standing around. No one wants to shoot at it because it can't do anything and it can't punch you. The Awesome has that PPC in there, but with the other 2 PPCs in the right and left torso, and it being an assault mech, and it throwing its ammo weight into armor, because I don't have to have the ammo bins and store that, the tonnage of the ammo, you blow off those arms, you really got to put those shots in there. So this goes back to the fact that, yes, it's 10 points of damage, it's 10 points of damage, it's maybe 30 points of damage, but I don't have to worry about heat, I don't have to worry about ammo expenditure, I don't have to worry about criticals, and it's sort of a zombie mech. You got to put it down. Let's get the Battle Fist in the other hand, so it has the tonnage to kick and punch. You want to close that distance and get under my minimum for the PPCs. I'll still try and shoot at you, but we'll go to close combat. We can do that. You don't want to brawl. I won't say it's a dedicated brawler, but you don't want to brawl with an Awesome. So how do we maximize this? What do we want to do? Naturally, I want to hit. I want to make that happen. So we're talking about the mech alone as opposed to with other support units. Being an assault, I want to utilize the advanced weaponry of it. I want to utilize the multiple weapons, and this is true for any assault mech, right? Obviously, if you're rocking something that only has one primary weapon and maybe a secondary weapon, like the Griffin, and I love the Griffin. It's a great sniper-type mech. I've got the PPC, I've got the LRMs. That's it. On some of these higher-end assault and heavy mechs, you have a lot of weapons in there. You want to make sure they all connect. I can't really control your movement. If you have a locust, I can't really stop you from running all those hexes to stack, +3, +4, +5 movement evasion on your dice for hexes, but I can control my own movement. And there is a big difference. It does matter. It doesn't always seem like it, but it does matter where walking that +1 or running that +2, adding that modifier on top of range modifiers, on top of your opponent's hex movement modifiers, that's how all of a sudden what seems like an easy shot, then you're like, wait, I need a 12 to hit? I need an 11 to hit? So if I can control the range by cornering you or hovering around mission objectives based on what we're playing, I can pull you into medium or short range for my PPCs. Ideally, that's the best I can influence. Again, I can't force you to do it, but I can influence you to have to move into that sphere of shooting. But I can control my movement. What I want to do here is what key pieces of terrain, and I have to make this decision pretty quick because it is an assault mech, and it's not very fast, relatively speaking. Speed's not bad. Can beat an urban mech, right? I want to get into position where I've got a little bit of cover, maybe on my legs, or I've got some concealment, so when you shoot back, I've got hard cover that could block. If we're using the Total Warfare rules, I've got a +1 or +2 density modifier on there. That's in place of my own hex movements moving. So in the best world, if I'm in cover, I'm not moving, so I don't have the +1, +2 walk run on my end. You're over there shooting at me, And because I'm in cover, you've got the +1 or +2, the concealment bonus on my end, which is kind of equal to that run. So that's kind of the other end of the equation in there. I will say, like most assault mechs, you make a mistake or two, the awesome is still going to be up. You're in a light or a medium mech, or you're in a light mech, you make a mistake. I make a mistake with my Thorn, it's just over. So it is a little bit more forgiving in that matter, but I find that when I play an Atlas or I play against an Atlas, you have to, an awesome, you have to be ready for long-term fight. You have to be ready to slug it out, to put this thing down, and to really take it to the end conclusion of the game. This is not going to go down easy and fast unless it's a lucky headshot or some sort of engine critical and things like that on there. That's why I think the awesome is definitely an awesome mech.